I wanted to discuss a little bit more about how Mars is relating to the war in Iran. Now, I'm here on February 28th, and I have in the center the natal chart, birth chart of Donald Trump. On the outside ring, we have the transits, the placement of the planets at the day the war commenced, February 28th. What drew my attention was Mars. Mars conjunct the part of fortune for Donald Trump, which is sometimes mislabeled as the astrological pot of gold. Concern yourselves less about what it was about and notice that what it has to do with a person's inner ambition and their drive for how they want to be seen. Mars is the warrior planet. And at the time, on the day, close to the day of the beginning of this, in fact, in the days preceding where decisions were likely being made, I'm going to go back just a tad here. We had Mars by transit, as in the motion in the sky for everyone that day, in opposition to the natal Mars, where Mars was the day of Donald Trump's birth. And that means Mars opposition Mars. And right around that same time, we had Mars come into a square aspect with the planet Uranus by transit. Now, Uranus is revolutionary change, unpredictability. A lot of great aspects go with Uranus. However, we're actually looking at a 90-degree angle, a square aspect. This creates quite a bit of friction, and it tends to force an energy to shift in a new direction. You can also note here that Uranus has been in a square aspect to Donald Trump's natal Mars. So there's a powerful energy shift available that has to do with assertion, ambition, drive, and going back to classic mythology, astrology mythology, we're talking about warrior planet. So on the day, the 28th, that this began, we'd had Mars make two major aspects in a row and challenging Donald Trump here to see himself the way he wants to be seen, part of fortune. And as we proceed a little bit further, we very quickly show Mars in opposition to Donald Trump's Leo ascendant. This is a challenge to how he is seeing the world and how the world perceives him. Now, how come I wanted to draw our attention to Mars? It seems to have been the key actor in initiating this very spontaneous war of choice. And I'm taking us back to the 28th because now we're going to move to present day. For those who were attending Fearless Friday, I guess a week and a day ago with Valerie at Illumination Portal, we talked about Mars coming conjunct the North Node. And we were anticipating that would make some kind of decision happen. Now, we're aware that decision has been made, and it had to do with sending essentially an invasion force, which was sent yesterday, into the region around Iran. We anticipate it's going to be a good idea to keep an eye, to watch out for what aspects Mars is making moving ahead. Let me go back one moment here. We're back here to yesterday, March 13th. At the time that Mars was conjoining the North Node is a point of, some call it destiny. It's a decision about the path that a person feels fated to travel or wishes to discover who they truly are, who they wish they were. At the time that Mars was conjunct the North Node, it was in a trine to Donald Trump's natal Mercury. Now, that is about thinking and communication, decision making. It has to do with expressing himself truly in a way that seemed rather necessary to him, that he take a destined, what felt to him like a destined path, a decision, and it relates to the warrior planet and what he perceives of as his true north. And that was the day he made the decision to send a potential invasion force. We'll have to see how that actually plays out. In the days ahead, we'll want to keep an eye on where Mars is making very significant aspects. I do note that we have a few major aspects to pay attention to very soon, and I will address them periodically. So that is just something to be aware of. Astrologers and folks who like to study astrology, keep an eye on Mars, and we'll have a clearer understanding of where things are going to turn in this conflict.